Mike's Boxing Corner, take 4. And we're back again. Take 3, looked like my head was getting cut off, so here we go again. Welcome to Mike's Boxing Corner. Sometimes boxing jokes and some fun interesting facts. Tonight, just the facts, man, as Joe Friday would say. It's already up to 2 a.m. I need to get some sleep, so hopefully the 4th time's the charm with this take. I can get this done in the can, and we're out of here. So, who's the only man to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, both boxing and full contact karate? None other than Randall Tex Cobb, probably best known for his appearance as a bounty hunter in the movie Raising Arizona. He's the dude on the bike with the vest full of hand grenades that was going after Nicolas Cage. He's got himself a nice acting career, but he fought Larry Holmes for the heavyweight championship of the world boxing, and I believe it was Bill Superfoot Wallace that he fought for the full contact karate heavyweight championship. Did not win either fight. Gave a good account himself. Went the distance with Holmes, and in fact, that's the fight that was the last fight Harold Cosell did as a commentator. Harold Cosell, I remember, was saying, "This is nothing but butchery," and that poor man, he's still smiling. Well, he was smiling because Randall Tex Cobb is one tough hombre. Larry Holmes could not hurt him. Larry Holmes probably could have hit him over the head with a 2x4, and that wouldn't have made him go down to the canvas. So he took every shot, best shot Holmes had, and he was still smiling because it was probably the biggest payday of his life. He was fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. Every boxer's dream is to at least get a chance at the title. And he went the distance with Holmes. Holmes couldn't put him down. You could tell Holmes probably hurt his hands on this guy's head. So, much respect to Randall Tex Cobb. Made it to pretty much the top of his profession in two arenas, boxing and full contact karate, and has a nice career for himself now as an actor. A lot of movies he's a go-to guy. He's a heavy. Raising Arizona is probably his most high profile, but I'm sure I've seen him in half a dozen other movies and TV shows. And so if you're out there, Randall Tex Cobb, you do a fan, much respect. This is my Jiffy Jeff's Gym t-shirt. I've had this for at least 15 years. There was no actual Jiffy Jeff's Gym as far as I know, but this was a creation of the comedian Bob Nelson, who's probably best known for his college football All-Americans bit that he did on the Young Comedian special, hosted by Rodney Dangerfield on HBO, which was probably the best one ever. I'm pretty sure the one with Bob Nelson also featured Rita Rudner, Sam Kinison, Bob Saget, and at least this guy Basil, I think, who was more of a prop comic. He was funny enough, but he wasn't in the class of the other ones, and there may have even been another guy. Anyway, I saw Bob Nelson at the Rascals Comedy Club in West Orange, New Jersey, back in the day, and very funny, and he did Jiffy Jeff, and he was selling these afterwards. I think it was $10, whatever it was, I bought it. And I wear it almost every time I work out, and every time I wear it, I think of where I got it. I remember Bob Nelson, I was a big fan of his. Did a movie with John Turturro and a third guy called Brain Donors. They were supposed to be like the next Marx Brothers. Unfortunately, didn't take off. They were supposed to do 2 or 3 movies. That didn't happen. I think I saw him in an infomercial within the last couple of years, I'm not sure. But Bob, fan of you also. Feel free to get in touch with me. Love to work with you. And last thing on that, my good buddy who I haven't talked to in quite a while, John Ramundi. I believe him and his wife Joanne and myself and my ex, who will remain nameless, saw Bob Nelson at the Comedy Club that night at Rascals. And in the lobby, there was actually a poster for an upcoming guest, Jim Carrey, who they billed as the white guy from In Living Color. And I was a fan of Fire Marshal Bill and a lot of his other stuff on Living Color. I remember from the Duck Factory. I wanted to go, but of course, as fate would have it, the weather was horrible the next week. It was rainy, pouring, windy, high speed. I'm a pretty good bad weather driver. The problem is, if the other person isn't, you can still get into an accident. Discretion being the better part of valor, I decided not to drive from Bloomfield to West Orange in this torrential downpour. Missed my chance to see Jim Carrey. I'm assuming he showed up. I'm assuming he didn't cancel. I mean, I never checked. Of course, shortly after that is when Ace Ventura broke, and Jim Carrey was not playing small clubs anymore after that. I had a similar experience with Joe Piscopo and the late Charles Rocket, who I could have seen as club in Spring Valley, and it was also just one of those things, bad weather didn't go, and after that Piscopo started doing movies, and of course Charlie Rocket did Moonlighting. Unfortunately, we lost him way too young. I liked him, I was a fan of his too. And Joe Piscopo, fan of yours too, much props. Liked you in Sidekicks. And your Frank Sinatra, that I Love Rock and Roll medley, it's on my website. Pure genius, Sinatra doing rock and roll tunes. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant, Joe. So you got a fan. I'd love to get a copy of your HBO special, the one where you were singing for Tony DeNono and they ended up carrying you out in a rug, and you did a whole Andy Rooney thing that was one of the most brilliant things I ever saw. And I thought I had a videotape, can't find it. Man, I would love to get my hands on that. If anybody out there has any of that footage that HBO special did with Jan Hooks, there were two. But it wasn't the Back to Jersey, it was the one before that, where Joe does a few minutes with Andy Rooney, and it's a whole thing on TV. He does Letterman, he does David Hartman, and I forget who else, but it was absolutely brilliant. I just thought it was one of the best things I ever saw also, Joe. So much respect to you as well. And then when you do Springsteen and you started pumping up because he started pumping up, and then you got really big. And you did a drummer bit too, I think. Anyway, I'm rambling on and on, but I find this stuff interesting. Hopefully you do too. If you got a question about something, maybe I can answer it. Feel free to email me about that too. I am a compendium of strange and assorted facts. So for Mike's Boxing Corner, this is Mike saying, don't take any sucker punches, and I'll see you next time.